To understand the meaning and the history of sin, we need to ask the questions, where and how did it begin? The first book of the Bible introduces A&E, not arts and entertainment, accident, emergency. No, these two letters represent a husband and a wife. The Lord created them and they passed on the gift of life. There's A for Adam, E for Eve. By now, I'm sure you guessed. They had two sons named Cain and Abel. Later, they had Seth. When God explained his rules, it seemed the couple both agreed. But when the devil lied to her, the woman was deceived. So Adam did what Eve had done without a real excuse. They bit into forbidden fruit, and then all hell broke loose. My multi-great-grandparents on my mom and daddy's side, they went from living naked to let's find somewhere to hide. Then Adam blamed his wife. That's something husbands do today. He even tried to blame the Lord for sending her his way. He knew she was a gift, flesh of his flesh, bone of his bone. But right then he was wishing God had left his rib alone. Then Eve, she blamed the serpent that old Beelzebub spoke through. She argued that he lied to her, so what's a girl to do? But down below excuses, underneath, it's all your fault. They weren't upset about committing sin, but getting caught. The devil told Grandmama something we all want to hear. I think he spoke right to her heart and not just in her ear. And through his question, with his lies, we know what Satan meant. He said to her, it's only right that you feel discontent. Yes, discontentment, in a word, the origin of sin. We want whatever we don't have. That's how it's always been. The source of our temptation can't be traced to someone else. The reason for our treason is an enemy called self. The woman was bamboozled, or at least it would appear, because the devil told her what he knew she'd like to hear. You have a right to be like God and do just as you please. That's how he wore her down and why she started wearing leaves. I don't know what Eve said to him, but Adam went along. Perhaps he thought, this feels so right. No way it can be wrong. They had a home in paradise. This couple had it all. And yet the search for satisfaction led to their downfall. And it appears this discontent was there in Adam's seed, because all of his descendants tested positive for greed. This greed gave birth to sin, which in the end gave birth to death. Cain murdered his own brother. Abel and not Seth. But Jesus' own half-brother wrote a word that's speaking still. James 4:2 says, you lust and do not have. That's why you kill. Some murder with their hands, but we all murder in our hearts. And deep inside our discontent, that's where the killing starts. We battle, yearn, desire, want. We even pray sometimes. Then get up off our knees and shout, now give me that, it's mine. Can you imagine chapter 3 of Genesis this way? While she was being tempted, what if Eve began to pray? Oh God, please let me eat this fruit. I'm sure it must taste sweet. Then God might say, you mean that fruit I told you not to eat? And that is how the want of man resists the will of God. We try to make the Lord obey the ones he made from sod. Our fight with self, not someone else, that's where it always starts. A civil war is being waged inside each human heart. Like Father Adam, Mother Eve, we lean into our lust until our every want and wish is turned into a must.